Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
And welcome back to the latest episode of the 1313 podcast, the most mediocre podcast in the Star Wars universe. I'm your host, Jacob, joined by my other host, Jackson, joined by my other host, Tommy. And together we make up the 1313 podcast. Thank you all for joining us this week. We hope that you are having a great week. To all you Regs, welcome back. To all you Shinies, welcome to the podcast. And as always, before we begin, make sure that you are subscribed to the 1313 Podcast YouTube channel for your chance at winning this Bad Batch Black Series Rex figure.
We're getting closer and closer.
Giving it away at 500
370.
subs. Make sure that you are subscribed for your chance to win this amazing figure. Also, be sure that you've joined our Discord. We're having tons of fun in there all the time. Tons of conversations, lots of laughs to be had, lots of cool discussions about Star Wars, Black Series, and anything that we feel like. So if you like to be part of a really cool Star Wars community on the internet, please be sure to join our Discord. I think that gets about everything out of the way. Nice. Cool, Tommy. Anyway,
That was really fun.
so would you rather? Tommy came out with the would you rather for this
All right, guys,
week,
let me hit
so-
you with this. Let me hit you with this. Would you rather, Jackson, you haven't seen it yet?
I
I didn't
previewed
see
it for
it
a
either.
second, but I didn't read the whole thing.
Would you rather see Fives live past the Clone Wars or see Kanan live past Rebels?
No.
I had to make it difficult. I had to make it
Yeah.
like it could go either way. I had to dig a little bit for that one.
I
I'm gonna
think
be honest.
I think I'd rather see Fives live,
Yeah.
but here's why. I feel like Kanan's death was necessary to push Ezra to be the person that he becomes by the end of Rebels. I think Thrawn would have won in the end if Kanan
Ooh,
didn't
that's
die.
a good point. That's a good point.
Because Ezra wouldn't have had the resolve that he needed to be able to sacrifice himself if it wasn't for his master and his sacrifice. So I feel like Kanan, while it is sad, it is a necessary death to progress the story of Ezra and to get us where we are today. I don't think anything... the only thing that might have changed is the explosion... being exposed.
Explosion.
Exposure?
Exposure
What?
of Order 66.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to go with Fives as well. Just because
Yeah.
Fives, he did not have a huge overarching character change for any other characters. He just tragically died because everyone was like, he has dementia. Kill him
No.
now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really agree with a lot of Jacob's points. What I think about too with Kanan is the scene in the first season where the Grand Inquisitors like beating up Kanan and Ezra, and then in that moment, Ezra falls off the platform and Kanan thinks Ezra's dead, and he overcomes his fear then of losing his Padawan and being afraid. So I feel like that's the exact realization that Ezra has in the final season versing Thrawn, and that because of Kanan's death, then he's able to make that sacrifice to save his friends. But again, I totally agree with Fives. Dying was just out of nowhere, and it was really tragic. It's not up there with
Stay back.
Kanan's death.
Stay back!
It's and
It's hard though. It's a hard watch for me.
that's the other thing. It's as Luke Skywalker says, confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi.
That's
That's a
true.
prime example of that.
Destiny of a Jedi.
Now, I do want to get into a little bit about Fives though.
Okay.
I know I said it last week, but I kind of want to elaborate. I'm going to just come out and say it. Fox did not do anything wrong.
Yes, he did.
I have to say.
Yes,
It-
he did.
And like, I know...
Set for stun next time, dum dum.
No.
Set
no.
for stun.
Let me hit you with this, okay?
It's not like, okay, see, you're coming from the police force where you're like, sometimes non-deadly things doesn't work, like a taser. The stun gun don't miss. You get hit by the stun gun, you down. I've
Right.
never seen
Except if
anybody
you're a
break
Jedi.
out of it.
Hear me out. Here's what the training is. The training is that if there is threat of serious bodily injury or actual serious bodily injury happening, that is when deadly force is authorized. Fox is looking at the situation. Before he grabs the blaster pistol, he is not threatening anyone of serious bodily injury. He's just, to everyone, he appears as a crazy clone because he got drugged by Palpatine. Okay? Now, once he picks up that blaster pistol and he's pointing it at everyone else in the room, he is now a threat of serious bodily injury. So, and Fox even gives him the benefit of the doubt. He even waits for him to take steps forward and get ready to fire the blaster pistol. That is when he fires his weapon at Fives. I understand the stun thing, but I'm just saying, dude, we've seen that stuns don't always work in the Bad Batch. You see Gregor get hit multiple times with a stun. It has to hit center mass for it to work.
But we've only ever seen that happen once on a clone that was.
But it also
out.
doesn't work on Jedi. You have to hit them multiple times. Wasn't that also in the Clone Wars?
That was
I'm
also
trying to remember who got hit.
But you also have to remember that Fives is a normal built person who isn't wearing armor.
He's also an ARC trooper.
He's also drugged.
But he's not wearing armor, bro.
He is wearing clone armor.
No, he was wearing.
Yes, he is.
Not in this scene. He's just wearing the black shirt.
Bro, he's wearing a full suit of clone armor in the scene.
I remember
because
him
you
wearing
see the
black...
blaster. I remember the blaster effect.
Yes, it's in
sizzling
the
in the chest plate.
Yep, I do remember that. But I feel like what really sells it for me, though, at least, is that Fox just acts like a complete a-hole throughout the entirety that you see in the Clone Wars. Like, he's just a jerk to Anakin about seeing Ahsoka. He's a jerk to everyone, and he just does it. He's very much seems like a guy who's just, it's his way or the highway. It has to be done this way because I'm in charge. That's where my issue comes in then.
Fox is a representation of what a clone trooper that follows Order 66 is capable of. Because he only follows orders.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he doesn't let Anakin in and Anakin gets mad at him to go see Ahsoka, he's like, sorry, dude. I'm not allowed to let anybody in. I'm not going to let you in just because you're a Jedi or just because you're her master.
Yeah.
I can't let you in, dude.
And then Darth Vader goes to check out the Jedi Temple and all the clones fire on him. And he goes, bro, why didn't you tell your fellas that I'm on your side? He goes, slipped my mind, dude. And Vader just goes, I could.
He gets what he deserves. Every bit of it.
I'm of the opinion that, again, Fox didn't, in that situation, he did not do anything wrong.
It's okay to be wrong, though.
Let us know what you think in the comments of this podcast. Let us know what you think about that. Now, this is a week that we did not see coming. There is literally one piece of Black Series news, and that's it. But there's no Star Wars news. There's no Lego news. So we are going to bring you all.
I can say a little bit. Are we talking about Black Series news or right now or?
There's a little bit, but I was going to save that for the end.
Oh, I'll just mention that.
But this is just one of those weeks where we literally had nothing else of note to report or discuss. So we're just going to throw you guys a nice casual Star Wars conversation. Mm-hmm. Let us know if you enjoy it. But yeah, let's dive right in, shall we?
As you can tell by Jackson's shirt and the figures on the table that we didn't recently pick up, today we'll be talking about the Bad Batch. Now, Tommy here has been rewatching the Bad Batch. Now, bear with me, y'all. I haven't rewatched it at all. The last time I watched it is when it came out. So my knowledge on this topic will be thin.
So I've seen all of the Bad Batch episodes at least twice because I would watch each episode twice before we would record for our podcast.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I would do that, and since then I haven't rewatched it. I haven't had time.
So I've watched a few episodes here and there along the way, but this is the third time that I've sat through and rewatched it. And I have a whole new appreciation for this show. I think part of what sparked it was getting this lovely Echo figure that we'll talk about later. The best figure.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to just plug my review real quick. If you guys could just go check out my Echo review. I have a whole new appreciation for the show. I think
our Echo review. Our Echo review.
There is no I in T, Tom.
Huh?
INT?
I'm having a stroke. Please give me a minute.
Jack, we need to reboot the robot.
Jackson.exe has stopped responding.
There we go.
So C-3PO, human cyborg relations.
Had to install Windows 12 on time.
So far, I've rewatched the first 4 episodes of the show, and I really have to say a lot of the stuff that the first or second time around watching it, when it was coming out week to week, and I was like, oh, that's kind of that's kind of not exciting. I don't feel that way anymore about it.
Well, now because it's I feel like the reason why we had wasn't that exciting is because in each episode you're hoping something really cool happens.
You're hoping Rex shows up in every episode.
Mm-hmm. But I think now it's good to rewatch it because you have the ability just to know that it's an entire story progression, so that way you don't have like expectations or hopes for anything to happen within the next episode, and then you're a bit disappointed when they don't happen.
Right.
Granted, we don't necessarily do that too often. Just if one episode's hype, you kind of hope that the next episode is even hyper. So
I think, especially with Omega, I think that every episode that where something happens makes sense for the story. Like, I remember when I watched it week to week, it felt a little bit more like they were just looking for things to do to build her character up, and they were like searching for it. But now that I'm literally watching it from episode to episode, back to back, like day in and day out, it's a lot more cohesive than I ever thought it was. For an example,
Okay.
in the third episode, Omega gets taken by Fennec Shand.
Yeah.
And they lose contact with her. So in the fourth episode, they give her a comm link at the beginning of the episode so that she is able to communicate with the rest of the batch if they get separated. That is a direct result of what happened in the prior episode. It also happens in the third episode where she kind of wants her own space. That comes from the fact that the Bad Batch is not used to having a kid around, which again comes directly out of the second episode, where Hunter in particular is learning about how to deal with a child and that she's not a soldier. I think that
she gets a room,
and then she gets her own little room
In the gunner area.
I feel like Disney is getting really good with continuity of characters learning from like small things. Another really good example of this is in the Marvel Universe is the going from Iron Man in Civil War to Infinity War, because we see in Civil War Iron Man loses the close quarters fight with Captain America because all he has is ranged weapons. All he has is his repulsor blasts and his beams. And then we see in Infinity War that with the nanotech, he has the ability to create tons of melee weapons, which he used to fight Thanos, which is a direct
result of what happened before.
I can't think of words. I know what I want to say. They're just not coming.
Same. That's what happens.
But yeah, it's a direct result of another movie. So like, I like it because it's such a small detail, but it shows progression of the character and progression of the story, showing that they're learning from one thing to another, and it doesn't just stay stagnant. Like it doesn't. So Omega isn't just, oh no, the damsel in distress. Just oh no, I need help every single episode. She's progressing. And she eventually in turn helps the Bad Batch grow as well, from just being soldiers to being fleshed out people.
Yeah.
We know from the first episode that she's a very competent character.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. I guess like as the audience, you're kind of in the same spot as the Bad Batch in that regard, where you don't really know how to take her. In that first episode, you're kind of like, she's kind of iffy. But as the episodes progress, you get a lot more of a cohesive and fleshed out character with Omega, and honestly, she's one of my favorite characters from that show because she's just so charming, and she does a great job of working with the Bad Batch.
Yeah, the show would be a whole lot more boring or infuriating if it had can't remember the dude from Resistance. Who's the Nemoidian? The Rhodian? Who's
I don't
really
even. He's a
annoying.
Nikto. His name is Niku.
Yeah, if Omega was like Niku, in my opinion, would have ruined the show. Just because, again, like you said, Omega is a competent character that is learning. Although she's actually older than the rest of the Bad Batch to begin with. But again, that shows because she's like, okay, I just need to learn to do this and this. Don't repeat the same mistake again and be an absolute idiot.
Having a character being stupid for the sake of being stupid is annoying as a plot driving device, and it's annoying to audiences. That's why people didn't
Jar Jar.
Well, no, I was gonna say that's why people didn't like Jar Jar. Now we have the charm of Jar Jar growing up and liking him as a kid, and now that we're older, we're like, oh, I get the slapstick humor. It's funny, but like in Resistance, that character's it's annoying. Just like him being stupid for the sake of being stupid, just to like drive small plot points or create problems where there really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's annoying to watch as an audience, because then you, instead of sitting there and going, well, for a younger audience, you sit there and go, it's so funny. But like people that are older like us, we just sit there and go, bro, please.
It likes to remind me of You know the Liberty Mutual commercial where the dude
Biberty.
yeah, the freaking that. The only people, and this is not to be rude, the only people that I've ever seen laugh at that are children and homeless people. I always say that because I work in a homeless shelter sometimes. But like, those are the only people I've actually legitimately.
What's wrong with homeless people, dog? What are you saying? Are you saying they're not of a high enough intellect?
No, I'm not saying that. They have literally nothing else to entertain them because they are sitting in that room all day with nothing because they are provided nothing by this city.
Liberty bibbity.
So that is the only humor that they can get. So they have to take it, I feel like.
They gotta make their own, bro.
But getting away from that point, it's like, it's stuff like
Jackson
that.
disses the homeless.
Look at his face. I have no say in this conversation.
All right.
I'm not throwing
All
any
right.
accusations.
No.
Jacob's the one
But
throwing
at any rate,
accusations.
But like
the sake
still,
of
that
conversation.
humor just isn't for everybody, in my opinion.
I have to commend Star Wars since Disney picked up the franchise for how well they've consistently, for the most part, brought in child characters
Yes.
for children who are coming into the franchise.
For a children-based show.
For
You look at-
universe.
You look at Omega, I think that's a fantastically done character. Grogu is really, really good. I rewatched the Book of Boba Fett finale recently as well, and when you watch that episode, Grogu shows himself as a competent character.
Yes.
Much more, because he has that training in the Force, much more so than he was in any other part of the show thus far, of The Mandalorian. Because now he has the training, he has capabilities now. He literally stops the Rancor
Yes.
from eating Peli and the mayor's assistant.
Mm-hmm.
He stops the Rancor from killing Din Djarin. So I think that even though he falls asleep, whatever, that's like, oh, cute baby. But like, also it's like, that shows that Grogu has become a competent character.
Yeah.
I consider Ezra and Ahsoka in the Clone Wars and Rebels to be the child character.
Mhm.
Again, these characters
Well,
are
they
made
are.
to be for the eyes of the viewer, for the new Star Wars fan, the person who's trying to come to grips with what's going on in the franchise. So I do want to say like that Omega in particular, I think to me has been the best so far out of all the child characters. I think she's been the best.
I think Ahsoka is the best. Just because
That's a fair point.
But the reason why I say that is because of the way that Dave Filoni wrote her character to be intentionally annoying and snooty and snotty those first 2 seasons,
A preteen,
and then
an
you-
obnoxious teenager.
and then you break her down, and then you mold her into what some people now consider to be one of the best characters in Star Wars. Period. Some people say that she's like the best, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm not a huge fan of Ahsoka, but her character is it's so good just because we saw her go from being a child to a more mature child,
Yes.
Mhm.
she grows up and
Yeah.
you see it happen. So it's like anything. Seeing character progression it's awesome.
So I guess my question is, do you think that season 2 of The Bad Batch will pick up right where season 1 left off? Or do you think that there will be a time gap between the 2 seasons?
I hope there's a little bit of a time gap.
Me too.
I hope
I feel
Omega
like
gets
it could
armor.
pick up.
Me too.
I hope Omega gets armor. I feel like that'd be so cool because that would be the first time we really see a female in Clone Trooper armor, which would be pretty cool.
I want to see that.
I want to see her. I
Mhm.
want to see the design of it. I want to see because we know her quirk isn't like being the strong one or the smart. It's being the glue that holds the batch together.
Yeah.
So everybody's armor reflects who they are in the Bad Batch. So I want to see what her armor would look like and to reflect to her. Here's a what do you think her armor would look like? Honestly,
I think that her armor would be, because now they don't have the resources of the Republic to make custom armor.
Mhm.
So unless they go to like an armorer of some sort, I think that her armor would basically be, I think it would really just be like modified clone trooper armor, like phase 2 clone trooper. I think that they would give her just a straight up phase 2 clone helmet and maybe like get it to fit her head. Because she is a small person.
Yeah.
And I think that they would really just give her like, I think maybe just the shins and the shoulders and maybe like one of the forearm pieces.
Yeah.
I think they would maybe leave the entire midsection without any armor. I think that they would just go with like some sort of like maybe like soft armor or like bodysuit or something like that.
The
Yeah.
way I think of it is like you know the game Borderlands.
Yeah.
You know Tina.
Yeah.
I get
Mhm.
Tina vibes from. it.
Okay. Yeah.
So like
That's fair.
it's slapped together. It's like just plasteel. It's just mixed match pieces, but it works and it just because that's kind of Omega's personality. She's just kind of a creative person. So having armor that would reflect, like, not like Sabine type creative, but like somewhere like around that, a more crude version, like untamed version of that, I feel like would be pretty cool.
Let me just... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I feel like even for her armor as well, I don't think it would be what the Batch's colors are. I feel like her armor would be white, or even some sort of like mock of like what like Lama Sue's like colors were. It's like that blue, and you need to help me here. Is it like orange or red that she wears like in her tunic and whatnot?
I think
it's honestly it's blue, red, and white actually.
Yeah.
So what if her armor was like a that? I feel like that would look really
That'd be cool.
interesting,
That'd be cool.
because I feel like that would remain true to her character.
That'd be dope. I honestly, and I also want to point out too that a lot of people are turned off by the Bad Batch because they think that it's like a kiddie show.
It's not.
It is not. When I watched the third episode of the show, which is called Replacements, there's that op where Crosshair's going in with the elite squad for the first time on Onderon,
and they just murder civilians.
There's a part where one of the members with the flamethrower lights one of the rebels on fire.
Yeah.
There's a point where one of the rebels drops her weapon and says, I'm like, has her hands up and says, I'm not, I wouldn't tell you if Saw was, even if I knew where he was. And he just, you see him shoot her. Yeah. Like you see him shoot another one of the
13.
Yeah. And then Fennec Shand literally turns around and shoots a Pantoran police officer through the chest. And then you see him crash into the other one and both speeders blow up into the wall. It's not like Rebels where there's a lot of stunning going on.
Yeah.
I did notice in the later like episodes of the season of the Bad Batch, they do a lot of stunning. Yeah. But if you watch like
but it's for the clones though.
But if you watch Cut and Run, like that second episode where they meet Cut and Sue and they get them off Seleucami, they're not stunning the clones. They're shooting the clones. Like it is a different situation. So maybe it's because they were doing like a rescue mission when they were getting Gregor, because that's the one episode that sticks out to me with the stun, is that they were using stun shots on that facility, that Imperial facility.
See, I got into a huge argument with one of my managers at work just because he doesn't know that much about Star Wars, but he was all like, you can't tell me Star Wars is made for kids. It literally isn't. His reasoning was about like the new 3 movies, whatnot, but then also all the new stuff as well. But at the end of the day, when people ask Dave Filoni to make mature Star Wars content, his point consistently is, how old were you when you watched the Clone Wars or when you watched Star Wars for the first time? And the answer for the most part is when you are a child. So they want to be able to have that audience still.
Yeah.
I feel like
that is the whole
even
point.
For us,
the first movie is
Jacob,
Farmer Boy meets Space Wizard, bro.
Jacob.
It's an adventure in space. It is a kid's thing.
Let me finish.
No,
but like, yes, although there's violent things like that happen in the show, and even in the Clone Wars, I feel like as a child you don't recognize that, or you just don't understand what it is until you're older. I feel like the same exact thing goes for Revenge of the Sith. Jacob and I loved watching that as a kid. Count Dooku gets off. Do you see his head roll? I didn't really know that was his head until like I was much older, or I didn't understand the whole weight of a lot of the situation of the movie until I was older and more mature to realize that. So I feel like as a kid, you only digest it for its surface value. So kids are watching it as clones in cool armor do cool things, and that's okay, because then when they grow up, they'll be like, oh, the show I really liked has a deeper meaning, and then they'll be more like us.
Did you guys... I saw this thing with some deleted scenes from episode 3, and George Lucas was talking to the stunt coordinator, and there was... It's the shot that you see when Obi-Wan turns on the hologram, you see Anakin killing... There's a full-done scene for that, and in one of the parts, Anakin grabs a youngling by the shirt and stabs her through the neck. And then George Lucas said it was horrifically violent and they couldn't use the shot.
I wonder why.
But so like when you see him on the hologram, that's pieces of that shot. Like that they filmed out in entirety.
Yeah,
PG-13.
I guess that's what brings me to, like, there's just always been something to me that people say, I want rated R Star Wars, that I've always just been like, man, like, for some reason that idea never sat well with me, and I've always tried to pinpoint why. And I think that's it. Star Wars has always been meant to be a family experience. There's something that parents can take from it and kids can take from it. If you open the door to rated R Star Wars, you're taking that away from the
Yes.
young demographic of people. And yes, they can wait till they're older to see it, all this and that. But I guess to me, and I know that some people want to see that level of violence, but I don't know. Like, to me, I just don't. It's not going to change how I feel about that property, whether or not I see heads roll or I see, like, you know, people get their limbs chopped off, because you already see that in Star Wars,
Mhm.
you know? And I feel like, what would rated R bring? Blood? But like,
Okay.
everything is blasters, so it's all cauterized, you know? It's not,
Exactly.
unless they're using like melee weapons, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
So the only reason why I could be like, I would like to see a rated R Star Wars project is because before seeing anything like within Marvel, just watching Marvel, you're okay with it being like superhero stuff. Like, oh, it's funny, it's corny. Although it is violent, it's not like you're seeing anything. But then Logan came out. I revere Logan as one of the greatest movies I've ever seen.
I agree.
It's-
I agree.
But it's rated R. It's absurdly violent, but the story that gets brought out of that violence is so raw and so emotional and so impactful. Like, that was one of the movies that, like, in theaters made me cry the hardest. Like, that movie is so good. And it's just like, I feel like you're sending off one of the biggest characters. Spoilers if you haven't seen Logan, by the way.
But it's been out for years,
Yeah,
so that's your fault.
You're setting off one of your biggest characters, the Wolverine. You're killing him off in canon. And I feel like it was the best way to send him off, because we know Wolverine in the comics is a violent character.
Yeah.
So to make him that way in his final adaptation, makes sense. So you can translate that. Darth Vader is the one character that people really want to see a rated R film about. In the comics, Darth Vader is an extremely violent character.
Yeah.
I feel like if you did one movie of Darth Vader showing him like to the extreme of his power, because we don't see him too much. We see him like in a fight with Luke, Obi-Wan, and then Luke and the Emperor. So you don't really see too much.
Rebels.
And then you see him be like a total murderer in Rebels. So you can see like where his power is. I feel like it would be cool to see Darth Vader in his full action. But I do agree with you that it does take away some of the family experience. But then again, a movie like that isn't made for a family. Those ones are made for the fans. Kind of like how Logan, although is in the Marvel Universe, it's not centered around children. That's one that's made primarily for the fans of the Wolverine.
So I guess then my question is, first of all, are we going to see... First point I want to make that I guess we could discuss is, like, are we going to see Vader at his full potential in Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Oh, that is
then
true, actually.
Another thing, too, is, in my opinion, or at least the way they've marketed it so far, Obi-Wan Kenobi is geared towards an older audience.
Yeah.
It's geared toward people who are, I would say, early 20s to early 30s.
The children
Because
who grew
those
up
are
with
the people
prequel.
who grew up watching the prequel movies
Yep.
and watching the Clone Wars. That is the demographic that Obi-Wan Kenobi is geared toward. That being said, that show is rated PG-13. So kids can watch it, and you can still watch it as a family. However, I do think there's going to be a higher level of violence in that show. I mean, yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. But
because I think Logan is a fantastic film and a fantastic way of showing that a kid-friendly property can be turned into a rated R
agreed.
film.
Yeah, 100%.
So it can be,
Yeah.
if it's done right, it can be done, because the only thing that's in Logan is he swears and there's blood and then he drinks alcohol.
Right.
That's like the only thing that really make it rated R is just the level of violence. And I feel like you can do that in a way that, like, if I was a child and I went to see that movie, I don't think I would have grown up any differently. I don't think I would have been scarred for life because I
Could
saw
probably hated the
Wolverine.
character.
No.
Well, because that's the thing as well when I think about, like, a rated R Star Wars project, you know, like, what if in a world they did that? And, you know, you're telling your kids, like, oh, you can't watch that yet until you're older. You know, I mean, like, for some kids growing up, yeah, who might be scared of certain things that could ruin it for them in the future. Like, I'll give a good example, and I'll out myself because screw Jacob. When I was a child, I watched Spider-Man 3 in theaters with my family. And during the movie, Venom came onto the screen. And I was terrified of Venom. My mom had to take me out of the theater because I was crying so much and ruining the movie for everybody.
Oh, you were
But-
that kid.
Venom is now one of my favorite characters in the Marvel universe. I always have loved the idea of symbiote, just a suit that's living and that goes on you and whatnot.
We
thought that
all
was
have
the-
symbiote, bro. It's called soap.
Shut up. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But in the
Hashtag
moment that had
biology.
ruined
Biology
Spider-Man
major.
for me as a kid, I needed to watch it when I was maybe a little bit older and maybe ready to handle the film.
I mean, but granted, you can't. I feel like the argument of, oh, you can't watch this until you're older doesn't make sense either, because that same thing happened to us when Revenge of the Sith was in theaters. I asked my dad about it later. I was like, why didn't you take us to go see that in the movie? He goes, because I was afraid that you would be scared of the movie.
I remember
So-
seeing
But you were
trailers of that
literally
movie, and my
3,
father said the
Jacob.
same thing. He was like,
Yeah.
I said, can I go see that movie? And he said, no, maybe not until like it comes out on DVD and I can skip through a couple parts for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he
So
said.
it's like, it doesn't. We all grew up with that movie, and we all say it's our favorite, but we watched it when we were a little bit older. It doesn't. I feel like the argument of just doesn't really exist for like gatekeeping a Star Wars property till you're older, even if it's rated R, because there are kids that went and saw Logan,
and
there's no way that there wasn't.
And that's, I guess my point is,
When you go to see
at that
it and those
point,
children.
yeah,
at that point,
it is
like,
not scary.
if you think about some of the violence we've seen, not just in animation, like with the Bad Batchy, there's some pretty overt violence in that show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, they killed Ton Wee. Like, come on, dude. And then you have
It's
live
awful.
action Boba Fett. You watch Boba Fett stab Cad Bane through his voice box in his
And
chest.
it's awesome.
And you watch him slowly, like, die because of it. Like, we don't think of it as much because there's no blood, and we've seen at in our 20s so much violence in movies and television and on the internet and stuff like that. We've seen violence. We're desensitized to it. But there are kids who watch that, and to them that's going to be a lot more riveting than us who are so conditioned to that kind of thing. And so I would say, I mean, yeah, but like, again, like, other than like cussing, which Star Wars, other than like damn and hell, Star Wars doesn't use
It does.
PG-13. You
Earth-
cuss
Earth
once.
cussing. You
I
know?
feel like if I heard curse words in the Star Wars universe, I'd just kind of be like, that was forced.
It would take me out of it. I mean,
It'd be-
even
That's
in,
why they have Dane Fair.
well, even in the sequels, when they say, like, even when they say "what the hell," I'm like, that kind of like takes me out of it for a second. I'm like, that's such a, like, an American, like, or like earthly cuss word. There's the one episode in season 1 of the Clone Wars where Heavy says, "What the hell was that?" after the Rishi eel kills Kutta.
Yeah.
And to this day, I watch that and I'm like, it's like, bing, like, oh, took me out of it for a second, but then I get right back into it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like that they have in-universe, like,
curse words.
cuss words and, like, slurs and things like that, because it keeps you, like, tailhead?
Why you
Like,
why you like
Clanker.
slurs?
no, I'm just saying, like, it keeps you in the universe. It makes the universe more tangible and more realistic,
Mhm.
you know?
But
I like that.
no, I feel the only things that they could do for a rated R project would just either A, a 1313 movie would be pretty cool, or B, a Vader movie. I don't really see what other things that you can do.
That would be violent to
yeah.
begin with.
Like, that would be more violent than we already see, other than the intensity of the crime syndicates or the most evil person in the universe.
Actually, if I were to say if there was something rated R, I think that an appropriate one would be the
Jar Jar movie.
How'd you know?
Bro,
Um,
read minds.
I think it would be the zombie Death Troopers
Oh,
as like a horror film.
That would be sick.
Because in the book, it's Han and Chewie are prisoners that get transported to the Star Destroyer where the zombie Death Troopers are happening.
Mhm.
Because Palpatine was experimenting, if I remember correctly, he was experimenting with like eternal life.
Yeah.
And it was an experiment that went terribly wrong. And Han and Chewie have to escape from their prison ship, have to escape the Star Destroyer. And I think that because it would be so gory and so and because it's a horror, it'd be a horror film.
Solo
I
2?
think that would be a good rated R
I would love
film. That'd be fantastic.
because right now my two big things outside of Marvel is Star Wars and horror. But my trinity of things I've been into recently are horror, Marvel, Star Wars. So I feel if you can mix them in any way, I'm happy about it. I feel like that would be really cool. And I remember seeing that book a lot as a kid. I never read it, but what you just said makes it sound really
It's
interesting.
in my room.
It's a
see
good
the
read.
audiobook of it.
It's a good read. And I remember always when I was a kid, I was super intrigued with those Death Troopers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was always a neat concept.
Mm-hmm. Here's a little ADHD moment. I was just thinking of this. Did you guys see the new Final Fantasy trailer? And
No.
Negative.
well, in one of the shots, they're
I know
trying to
what you
show off
mean.
like the background and stuff. In one of the shots, it's like it looks like Endor, and you can see an ATST foot in the background.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So do you think? My thing was, do you think it's just because they were trying to show off the engine that they were doing it in? Do you think that might have just been accidental footage that they took from the map that they used in that EA property, and then they just
Final
dumped filters
Fantasy
on?
isn't made by EA, though.
Well, I know, but you can take the map that they had an Unreal Engine and just.
Oh, it's on Unreal Engine? Oh, then it was
I don't
absolutely... Oh.
Well, I don't know. This is just my
Final Fantasy
example.
doesn't operate. Unreal Engine is made for
Everything.
No, it's
Everything
the
else.
Frostbite engine. It's the Frostbite engine.
Yeah.
Frostbite is Battlefield, but
Yeah, that's
Frostbite isn't Battlefront though.
Yeah, it is.
Because
Yeah, it is.
Frostbite is what allows.
It is.
Because
They're the same engine, just reskinned
Because
for a
it-
new game.
Yeah. Frostbite engine is on... Because it's DICE. DICE EA, they use Battlefield and Battlefront both use the Frostbite engine.
I'm such a tech guy. I know so much.
But no, so the ATST in Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is already a Disney-based video game. Do you think we're actually going to get Star Wars in it?
No, it does run on Frostbite.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know. And here's the question: if Star Wars, because I've never played a Final Fantasy game in my life.
Nor will
Not
I.
Final
Neither
Fantasy.
have I.
It's like is it
I
Final
haven't.
Fantasy? What is it?
It's Final Fantasy. Isn't there like 15 of them now or something?
No,
Are you thinking
I'm
of Kingdom
Kingdom
Hearts,
Oh,
Jacob?
Kingdom
I messed
Hearts.
up
Oh
this
my
entire
gosh!
topic.
I was
Oh,
like,
if it's
Final
Kingdom
Fantasy is
Hearts,
the
there
anime
very
game.
well might be Star Wars in it.
Yeah, my bad. I've messed that up completely. They're both games I've never played
Every
before. and they
nerd
seem
on
to-
the internet being like, no.
Some people were probably really mad at me about that. Sorry
Whatever.
about that. I don't
Cry.
play the games. But no, Kingdom Hearts, yeah. Because I was going to say, it is a Disney property, so it's very well possible that we could get it. Do you think that you would play it, though? If there's
No.
No,
No.
still one. I think that's just not a game for me. I've seen so many clips of people playing it and just been like, okay, it's for some people. I know a lot of people that really love the Kingdom Hearts
Guys,
series.
the keys, guys! I don't know.
I don't
Guys,
really
the
care.
Keyblade, the Keyblade.
I'm like, don't care.
There's a giant key. You might as well be using a bat.
Yeah,
Blade
that's
to it.
okay though.
I don't get the games, and if you enjoy them, good for you.
That's fine.
They're just not for me.
But hey, like, you know, at the end of the day, I think I'm very intrigued to see what Star Wars keeps doing with the Bad Batch.
Mhm.
And I think that I can't wait to see what Season 2 brings us, even if there's a time jump, no time jump, Omega with armor, Omega without armor,
It'll be a good show, no matter
live characters, dead characters.
Whoa!
I don't care.
what. But no, it'll whatever it is.
Yeah.
It'll be cool, and I'll be enjoying it. So I feel like that. This is a good way
Hey,
to talk about our question of the
Guys, let us
Okay.
know what you thought of that nice little
Yeah.
conversation. And
Let us
share
know-
your thoughts.
day. On the Bad Batch as well as a Rated R Star Wars project. Let us know what you like.
And let's get into my question of the
Jeff
day.
Tommy's
Okay.
question of the day.
I have a question for you all.
What's your question?
And that question is, if you could own one piece of Star Wars universe tech, what would you choose and why?
Do weapons classify as tech?
Oh yeah, anything that's technology. Technology!
I would like the Jedi Starfighter from Episode 3
Ooh, the Actus 2.
because not only is it my favorite ship in all of Star Wars, but it has hyperspace capabilities. So I would be like, y'all, I'm gonna go see if there's anything else in this universe and just peace out and then explore space.
Jackson?
I feel like for me, for no practical reason, it's not going to be as cool as Jacob's. I want a pair of macro binoculars because I can remember as a kid going to Toys R Us when it was still open.
Fella said, I want the binoculars, please. What can I do with them? Look at stuff far away.
Look at you far away.
Ain't gonna be able to see me, I'll be in another galaxy.
No, but when I was a kid going to Toys R Us, I remember they had a pair that was like a Stormtrooper set, and I really wanted to get it, but I just never did. But I thought it was like the coolest thing to be like, whoa, electronic binoculars, and it has all the measurements and stuff on in the zoom.
You do realize that they have rangefinders nowadays that do exactly that.
Well, I get that, but I'm just saying, for no practical reason, just I'm appeasing the inner child Jackson with this answer.
Tommy, what are you getting?
I'm going to go with a U-Wing, and here's why.
Okay.
In real life, I drive a minivan. It's like literally part of my identity at this point. Everybody like...
Crimson Red Battle Bus.
Yeah, the Crimson Red Battle Bus. It is Kirby for short. She's perfect. I love her. And I think that like the U-Wing is like the perfect embodiment of a Star Wars minivan because you have lots of seats, you have lots of room, you have like 2 pilots up front, you have a comm station. I think that it's just like the perfect ship and I think that it would just suit me so well. So I'd go with the U-Wing. I had the U-Wing Lego set back in like 2016 and that was a gift from my aunts for Christmas, and I loved that thing. It was so freaking cool.
If I were to change my ship, I would also choose the Havoc Marauder.
Ooh.
Jedi Interceptor and Havoc Marauder are my 2 favorite ships.
Man, oh man, that's another ship that could classify as like a mom van, for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I think of it. It's like a tour bus. It's like it's cool. It's a bit roomy, but it's practical.
Indeed.
No. I'm surprised that you and I both picked ships.
I'm surprised we both picked ships.
And then this dude picked binoculars.
You know what? It doesn't matter.
Alright. So,
hey guys, we have a little piece of Black Series news this week.
Oh, what is it?
It is actually, so Yak Face has a rumor report that there will be a Nolan Cheel, who is one of the members of the Biff Jizz band.
Yes.
He's the drummer, I believe. It's going to be like a deluxe release that comes with all of the instruments, including the drums. And that will come for the 6-inch scale for the Black Series. So for everybody who was upset because they saw Figrin Dan for the TVC, you will now get the opportunity to get all 4 of the instruments with one Biff. And I'm almost positive that they'll probably also at some point do
a standard
release. That way you only have to get the deluxe one time.
But wait, the other big piece of Black Series news that we did not get to talk about last show, actually, that happened this week. You may have seen it while we were recording, but this fella finally decided to come to the United States for once.
For absolutely no reason.
For absolutely
out of nowhere.
No reason, out of the blue, found in Indiana, and then mass amounts of them found in Florida. I guess everything happens in Florida this week.
Everything in Florida, because Disneyland is in Florida.
Yeah.
But no, man.
We're excited to have it. We'll talk about that when we get to pickups.
And then Lego news, that little minifigure that you got with your deluxe edition of the Skywalker Saga will be used in another set. Lego Fulcrum is predicting that is in a May the 4th set, which I will be picking up because I wanted to get the Nebula class freighter set for last Comic-Con. Oh, it was like the Comic-Con set that they did. And it went up and I never heard about it, and then literally one dude bought it, did a bot on it and bought more than half of the supply and is still selling them to this day for overpriced. So I would
good
like
for
to
him. I bet he feels really good about himself.
Yeah, I would like to actually have a chance to get one of those exclusive sets. But no, he'll be in it, so it'll probably just be like Homestead. And I got some Marvel Legends news.
Let's hear it.
For all y'all that are interested in it. First, the Moon Knight figures have gone up for pre-order.
I did see that.
I bagged both of them. Sick. I got Mr. Knight and
Moon Knight. Have both of them?
Yes.
Oh.
So those will be coming someday. The figures for Thor: Love and Thunder are being found in different areas, not in stores, but like people are getting hands-on pictures of them already. So we're getting those reveals soon. And then finally, what I am most excited about, Hasbro Pulse announced that we will be getting all 3 Spider-Men in Marvel Legends next year. Officially announced it. So I can't wait to see those. I can't wait to see Andrew and Toby, because I already got Tom. But no, I am more than excited for that, and I hope we get more of the villains with that wave as well. make me very, very happy. But I think now is a good time to get into some pickups.
Let's do it. I'm gonna go over just because I got just one. I'm gonna go over it real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. And then
So-
I'll tell the story about the 212.
We have a review on the channel of this guy. It is the Echo Black Series figure from the Bad Batch. In short, I really love the figure. Jackson, you can share your thoughts too. But yeah, if you want to see like an in-depth look at the figure, go check out the review. It's probably in this corner or that corner right now.
Whatever corner.
And if you're not watching, then you'll just have to check out our YouTube channel. But yeah, Jackson, what do you think of the figure?
Dude, I absolutely love it. I think it is literally going to be one of the greatest figures released this year. And I am boldly saying that.
Let me just say, like, the Black Series has really been, like... I know that sometimes, every now and again, we'll rant about Hasbro here and there out of frustration, but let's be real. Between the Jet Trooper, General Grievous, Boba Fett, Echo, it's only April. And all of these figures, you have to keep in mind,
yes.
Bad Batch Cad Bane comes out this year.
Yep.
You have the Tartakovsky figures have already come out this year.
Yep.
You're going to have Wave 32 is showing up in people's hands now. Like,
We
all
still have
those
to
figures.
get the Umbra Arc Trooper.
Umbra Operative Arc Trooper is coming. This is going to be a big year for the Black Series. And they're
Like-
releasing some bangers.
And this
Yes.
figure is near perfect. The only nitpick I could ever be like is the helmet looks a little big. But that's it. My only thing about the figure is the helmet looks a tad
I think
bit
it looks
too.
fine.
It just looks because like in the show it's a bit skinnier when it comes down to here. But that's just because they had to figure out a way to wrap it behind his forearm piece.
Yeah.
Which honestly is really nifty the way they did
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
So that way it's like it's actually on there and you just take the helmet off. There's a little clip in the back that if you haven't seen the review, there's a clip in the back that just kind of just so it clicks into place.
Yes.
It is a stellar figure. It looks great. It feels great. It's awesome.
Yep.
I bet the only other thing that people would complain about is the fact that the comet isn't soft goods.
The
I
only
wish it was.
inconsistency with the TV show, like the only blaring one, is that he doesn't have a bicep plate on his left arm. But
Oh.
again, you have to remember when they got this figure, they only got concept art images of him
Because it
when
comes
they started
with his
making
hook
him.
hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did you know the hook comes off?
Wait, what?
The hook, like, it shoots off. Like, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
I might have to play with that now.
It disconnects.
No, but again, literally an absolutely perfect figure. I'm so incredibly proud of Hasbro for that. Could not have been
And
better.
And did you know the backpack is actually a different sculpt than Tex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
thought
is.
it was the same.
And it's
but-
that single peg in.
Mhm.
It's skinnier.
I'm a huge fan of it. Very good on you, Hasbro. I'm proud of you.
You did better.
To talk about this
Don't hold it by the tag of my
stellar figure right here.
I pulled Jack.
So what had happened is that Yak, out of the blue, I was sitting in my room doing homework. I always check my phone. I have Yak Face notifications on. Checked it, and I saw that figure, and I was like, oh, great. Is it somebody saying that they're going to sell it through a fan channel, or somebody bought it through, like, Taiwan or whatnot? But it was like, figure found at Walgreens, start looking, and it was like, what? So all of us, plus my dad, have a really good, like, schedule of checking Walgreens. So we were literally checking it 1 to 2 times every single day. And my dad just so happened to go in when they were stocking it on the shelf. Now, what was odd about it, and the reason we only have one, is
It's because they were only stocking one.
Yes. So he was talking to
So
the lady
weird.
who was working, and so how she was explaining it was that if there is a region and they get a specific item, they have to divide it up in the region. So we have another Walgreens in our area, which might have the other 212th Trooper. It's
They had
just
it
a matter
clear
of
when I went and saw it.
waiting for it to get on the shelf, or like it's probably just sitting in the back, because to be completely frank, it's not on the good side of town, so the people there probably really don't care about a Star Wars figure at the end of the day.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to probably sit around in the back and maybe pop up randomly, but we can only hope that Walgreens sends another shipment to our area. But for now, that is the only one. And it's exciting in a way because there are a decent amount of people here, I would say, that collect the Black Series like us. So for us to get it is very, very fortunate. We're
Don't you
very
just
lucky.
don't you just think it's crazy that Hasbro made the figure an exclusive and each store only got one, at least in our area?
Yeah. I was like,
one
you're
single
serious?
figure, and it's an exclusive.
But in some
One.
people's Walgreens, they have full stock, like 6 of them or whatnot, or
Must
more.
depend on your population.
It
in the
has
area
to.
or
So if
something,
you
yeah.
live in a bigger city, you have a better chance. We're screwed.
Mm-hmm. Oh well.
We need to just get one more for him, and then if we can, I would like one for my collection.
Yeah.
But that has to be the realistic goal.
I'm okay without it. And when I shoot the review on it, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you'll know why.
Yeah, the card for the review actually won't be there because the review doesn't come out till after this comes out. Oopsie poopsie.
Anyway.
But then to kind of go over the rest of mine real quick, I have the new Boba Fett figure. I shot a review on that. That will be up by the time this video goes out. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You should check that out. I
Card is right
love
here
this.
or right there or something.
Really, really love this
Oh,
figure.
hey, fun
Could not be
fact.
more happy with it.
So you know how we always complain that the knee pads are on the wrong side of the knee on the Black Series figures?
Yeah.
Well, I was like looking at that figure the other day and I was like, oh, like they actually got it on the bottom of the knee, like how a knee pad works. But in the show, when Boba Fett bends his knees, the knee pads stay on top.
Yeah, I was going to say,
of
because
the
when
knee.
he bends his
And
knee
I
to
was like,
shoot, he has to
what
aim.
are the odds that they did it wrong again on that figure? On the only figure they
But it's
reversed the knee pads.
because he has a tunic covering him, so I get it.
That's fair.
So they want to show it off.
That's fair. But
'Cause-
yeah, I was like, are you kidding me?
It is what it is.
Well, it's not like that
But-
in Mandalorian, though.
Other than
Oh,
that,
true,
I got that. And then I also got the Lego Clone Command Station.
You showed that off already, I thought.
No, I didn't.
No, he showed it in box.
In box.
I showed it in box, but finally built it. Very, very happy with this build. Hopefully we do get that ATTE later this year. I will. If that comes out, I'll buy it. Like, I'm going to be honest. I will, because that is a set that I will love. And I feel like that would also be the extent of me buying Lego.
You might not be here when it comes out.
Yeah,
No,
Jackson
so
will
I'm
just
getting
go get
summer
it in
release.
Taiwan. And then he'll
And
come
what
back.
if they have it there? I'll just get it
He'll
right
be
off the
holding it in
factory
one hand.
press.
He's going to go, be shilling.
You couldn't build it till you get home, though.
Well, for Chan Bishini.
It'd fall apart on your way back.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't build Legos on the plane, except...
I'm just saying, like, in your dorm. Is that
Here comes the giant fist!
Jackson on the plane.
So I got some pickups too. I have the anniversary Captain America figure here, and by the time this video comes out, there might be
You might see a review on it.
Might not.
So yeah, solid figure. Super cool. Comes with a lot of accessories. They're all in the box over there. I'm not gonna get them out. My only complaint about it is that the shield has holes in it for the bullet hits, so you can't have the shield just out on its own without there being holes in it, which is a little bit whack. Another pickup I'm super excited about. I got the Tumbler from the Dark Knight Lego set. Absolutely solid set. Comes with 2 minifigures. Comes with a little Batman and then a little Scarecrow from the Batman Begins movie. Super solid. Love it. Oh, that's not the theme. That's not the theme.
You get what I mean.
Super solid build. I had a lot of fun building it. I built it because I was pulling an all-nighter because the next night I had homework due, and then I had to wake up at 2 the next morning. So I was like, screw it, I ain't going to bed. I just watched the Dark Knight movie and built this. It was a really fun time. Super, super solid build. And it's nice because they came out with the UCS tumbler, which is awesome. But then they have the budget versions because like I wanted to get the UCS one. I just don't have the space for it. So I got the little one instead. And then finally, the pickup I'm the most excited about. I've been hunting for this figure since October. It is Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn Ash figure. Now, Evil Dead has become one of my favorite horror movies of all time just because of how goofy, how weird it is. And the Ice Nine Kills songs, Ex Mortis, also helps that along. So, no, super solid figure. It looks great, and you will probably maybe see a review on this. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know. Do you know?
I don't know.
No.
Oh.
And then another pickup that's just chilling over there is new Spider-Man movie came out on Blu-ray. So I got the 3-pack with all of them in it.
Nice.
Very cool, very nice. And I think that is it for today's episode. Do you have anything else?
Negative.
Do you have anything else?
No.
All right. In that case, thank you all so much for watching this episode of the podcast. Please, if you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment, let us know what you thought about our discussion about Rated R Star Wars and The Bad Batch. Also, if you haven't already, please press subscribe. And you know what? Share us around to your friends. Give us some love. We would really, really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't heard, we got that Discord. Make sure that you are in that Discord. Such a fun time. So much fun in the Discord. You should join it. It's awesome. The people in it are awesome. You'll get to know them. They're amazing people. They're so nice. I recommend it. Also, please be sure that you are following us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for more content and little updates about us and what we do. Thank you all so very much for watching this episode of the 1313 podcast, and we will see you all next time.
Goodbye, everybody!
Dun 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 hum da da hum dum dum da hum da da hum da da dum dum da dum da ba do ba do ba do ba do ba do ba ba dum ba dum ba do ba dum ba do ba dum dum hum da dum 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 da dum hum da da hum dum da da hey I'm ba da dum da dum dum hum da dum da dum da dum dum da da ba da dum dum da ba ba da ba da